Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dual Screens podcast. I am one of your hosts, Stephen Fontana, and with me, he's over there. He's Andy Asimakis. How are you doing, Andy?
I'm going to give either the best or worst pitch for this game right now.
Interesting.
Okay. This game that we're about to talk about is the Death Stranding of indie games. It is revolutionary, groundbreaking, but it won't bore you like Death Stranding did to some. It's fresh, it's new, it's exciting.
I have a question. Wasn't Death Stranding the Death Stranding of indie games?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Listen, if our guest got like a $1 bajillion cash infusion from Sony, maybe. But I doubt that was the scenario here.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, joining us this week is Vojta Šiman, the developer of MATCHO, a revolutionary Match-3 FPS. You're hearing this correctly, folks.
You heard it.
With combat mechanics different from anything you have ever played before. Vojta, welcome to the show.
Hey there, good to be here. Nice.
Yes, this
nice
is very
to meet you
exciting.
all. Yeah.
We get to see your beautiful face, and this is going to
Hopefully
be.
hear my voice.
I could hear the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Sounds fantastic.
I could see your voice and I can hear your face, so we're good. We're
Perfect.
we're doing excellent here so far on the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Sounds horrified.
It does. Yes, we're on our way. Before we get into the show proper, we want to let you know what the hell you're listening to, listeners or viewers, if you're viewing us and seeing our beautiful faces. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Dual Screens podcast, the internet's #1 indie developer interview podcast, hosted by people you've never heard of, probably. The show posts each and every Friday for your listening pleasure on your podcast service of choice, including our home, podbean.com. We're also on Apple, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, anywhere you could find podcasts, we are there. And if you go to Podbean, you can actually copy our RSS feed. So if you're using like your own little player, you can just paste the RSS feed and you get the shows also. And the video version of the podcast, of course, is on youtube.com/dualscreenstv. And if you want to support us on Patreon, it's so easy. A baby can do it if they have money in her bank account, or thumbs and a phone or a computer. What else would a baby need? Oh, I know. They would need to know how to go to patreon.com/NDS podcast, just like our big baby Patreon producers, Colton, the Apprentice Nestler, and FNH Paul. We cannot continue to grow without all of your support. And of course, just $1 gets you bonus content, and it gets you into our Discord channel, our VIP Discord, where it's just us chilling and hanging out. So it's a great time. And without further ado, Andy, I'm gonna hand over this baby bird to you. You're now nourishing this beautiful baby bird. You're going to puke in its mouth. Our ceremonial lead-off question of the show.
It's a simple question.
Wow. Okay.
I think it's gonna set the tone for the entire show. All right. The question is, why?
Good question.
Why? Well, why not? But I guess you want a more interesting answer. Well, I mean, it's just a concept we wanted to explore. Like, if you are asking like why a Match-3 FPS, it's like we all in the team, we really like playing shooters. But the thing is, like, one day we were actually like brainstorming game ideas, because the funny thing is the game actually started as a student project I had to do because I was like working on games already while studying. And we just needed to kind of brainstorm an idea, and during the brainstorming we just kind of merged the two genres together, like Match-3 FPS. And I remember everyone like freezing and like, how would that work? and it was just intriguing, and like we started talking about that, and the more we explored that concept, the more appealing it looked to us. And yeah, so why? Well, why not? It's fun. We think it's something new. And you started the podcast by saying we are claiming it's something you haven't played before. I know a lot of people like to throw this around, but in our case, I think it's such a silly idea that, I think it might be actually true in our case.
It's rarely true, but in this case, I feel
yeah.
Why? What is this? And it really shows. Oh boy. All right, Steven, take it away.
Take it away. All right, I'll take it away. How the hell are we matching 3 in a first-person shooter? Can you explain these mechanics, please?
Yeah, totally, sure. So for anyone listening or watching us that even hasn't seen any of the trailers or anything, just to explain the basic idea. So, I mean, you can imagine like your regular FPS. You are a player standing in, let's say, an arena, and you have these colorful enemies. Because firstly, Match 3, usually when people think about Match 3, they imagine like apples or diamonds or like shiny things that you like match on your phone when you are sitting on toilet or being in like on a train or whatever, where people play these games. And so we kind of wanted to make the enemies colorful as well, because that's the point. Like you are trying to well, match 3, but how does that work? Well, in FPS, since you are usually shooting, in this case, you can kind of like tag your enemies, and they all have different colors. So imagine in front of you there are 3 blue enemies, so you can kind of point at the first one, tag them, then the other one, and then the third one, and once it's a group of at least 3, only then they'll explode and you can destroy them. So if you want to kill the enemies, you need to find at least 3 of the same color. It's like the easiest way to explain it.
Yeah, it's basically like Target. It's just the order of which you attack your enemies is what counts here. It's not just about shooting something as much as possible. It's about shooting the right thing at the right time to cause the most amount of damage and
totally.
havoc. And that's a really cool mechanic, but you also have really cool movement in here. You have some cool platforming elements. You really do take this. I mean, I haven't gotten my hands on it yet, so I don't really know how it feels. Do the enemies behave differently? Like you have yellow, you have red, you have blue. Do they behave differently? Do they have different ways of exploding or different, you know what I mean? Like, can you go into the variety in there?
Right. So we kind of wanted to make this very consistent. So the color of the enemy shouldn't really matter. In that way, like, some people are asking us, so like, are the red ones more aggressive or anything? But the thing is, no, what separates them is like the different kind or shape of enemies. Like you are, I mean, most people are asking us, well, it's just these bugs, or is there going to be like a different kind of enemy? And we do have multiple of them. We are going to slowly reveal things as we get closer to the release date.
Right.
But the thing is, no, if it's like a red, yellow, blue, green, like whatever color you're gonna see, it shouldn't really matter. The thing is, you need to find groups of them, and it's usually like to make the gameplay balanced. So even like when you encounter enemies, usually they are kind of spread out evenly, that you are going to see similar number of each color. So it's not like, I don't know, like you are trying to find the green enemy and,
right.
you know,
It's
you
not
have like
an Easter egg
17.
hunt.
Yeah, no. The idea is that it really should be kind of like flowing nicely. And so the color matters just for like getting at least 3 of them, but no,
Right.
it doesn't mean like they're faster or anything.
Right.
How do you capture that like beat the clock mindset of a match 3? Is that just out the window altogether, or is there some sort of mechanic where if you don't act fast enough or kill fast enough, they'll like form a wall and squish you at some point?
That's a great question, because like the thing is, in our game we are planning like different game modes. One of them is like the regular story campaign, something where we are actually going to tell a story and you can kind of go through it. But another mode we are planning is something we call an endless mode. And this is where it kind of feels a lot like your regular match 3, that there's a timer, or in our case, it's like the player's energy that's running out. And once it reaches 0, the round is over. But if you can refill your energy, it's an endless mode, so technically you should be able to play this forever, but of course the game keeps getting so difficult that at one point I think everyone's just going to run out of the energy. But that's kind of how we are bringing the Match 3 endless style into kind of the FPS arena combat.
Yes.
So this is about matching colors. Do you have any sort of accessibility plans?
Definitely we do. One of the things we already have like right now in the current build, it's like the ability to either enable a color filter for the whole game or even set the colors of the enemies however you want. So anyone can just either use one of our presets for like the most standard types of color blindness, or even like specifying the colors. But something we are also exploring, because we've talked to a few people, even like one person on our team is also colorblind, so it's something we needed to do even just so he could work on the game. We want to we want to add like patterns as well. So for example, you can make some of the bugs have like dots on them, the other ones could have stripes, and it's also a way for people to be able to distinguish tell them apart. And the thing is, we are never trying to overwhelm the player. Like, you are not going to see 6 different colors and then be like, oh no, that one was blue, not purple, and like that's dark blue, not like light blue. The colors should always be like really far away on on the color spectrum. So it's usually, I think it's going to be like 3 colors at max at any given moment. So we are definitely working on accessibility options as well.
Now, you mentioned story a while ago. What is this game's story? Who are you? What are you doing? And why are you tasked with matching enemies to defeat them? How does it all tie in together on a narrative perspective?
Right. So in our game, you are playing as Max, who is well, I mean, I could say just a guy, but of course, this is our way of telling like a superhero story. So, of course, he's not just a regular guy. He's got this ability or a disease, depends how you view it, because even in the story, this is something that's going to be discussed. But the thing is, he's got this thing where he can match and destroy 3 objects of the same kind, which obviously was a problem when he was a kid. Like, you can imagine him playing basketball and accidentally destroying 3 basketballs, or no, it's just like a little funny silly thing. But no, the thing is, he's got this thing, and he is in this facility we call Trigon, which you could even see in the trailer for the game, which is our take on I mean, you can imagine like a mix of like CIA kind of facility, but also like experimental science-y thing, like Aperture Science from Portal or something like that. It's just a research facility, and also like a military, like they're doing military operations as well. So
little Area 51 type stuff.
Yeah, kind of, exactly. That's probably the best way to describe it. Yes, you can imagine something like that. And well, Max is kind of locked there because he's clearly dangerous to others with this ability. But that changes when there's an alien invasion, and they are like detecting weird energy of these bugs, and it looks like the energy is similar to the one that our hero kind of possesses, and he can use this to destroy the enemies, which they find out during the first mission. And well, then that's just a reason for us to make the player go on these missions and fight the enemies. But also, we are actually going to tell a big superhero story, but it's supposed to be kind of lighthearted, almost like if you imagined a combination of like Marvel and Pixar in a way, because obviously the game looks cartoonish, but so it's going to be like an upbeat or not necessarily like happy story, but we are not trying to take ourselves that seriously, but also we want to tell like a proper big superhero story.
I mean, when you say it's a Match-3 FPS, I think it's out the window. And
like
seriously.
Totally. But that's fine. I mean, we like making games with jokes, like just humor games, like comedic things. So the story is going to be well, we've got voice actors. We are going to have both English and Czech voice actors because we are a team based in the Czech Republic, but we are working with voiceovers that are voicing over like shows and anime in English. I mean, we can look at the cast later, but We also have cutscenes, and we are using motion capture and lip syncing and all that. But also we are an indie team, so doing this in just a few people can get challenging sometimes. But we just want to tell a good story as well as like bring innovative gameplay.
Talk a
Maybe
little
he
bit
did-
about that challenge. I'm sorry, Andy. Go ahead.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say maybe he did get a
Yeah.
cash infusion from Sony at some point.
Oh,
Motion
boy.
capture,
No. So,
like-
so here's the thing. Like, we don't have like an entire green screen room with a bunch of sensors. We don't have anything like that. For us, it's just how can we get as close to that, like with like indie budget and indie conditions. So one thing we are using is a technology or like a suit called Rococo. I think that's how we pronounce the name of the company. I think it's like Rokoko. I think that's how it's spelled. And they sell motion capture suits that are closer to, let's say, indie budget. They are
modest budget.
modest budget. Like, it's still quite expensive, but
Right.
it was something that we kind of could afford. And the cool thing about these is that the suit, I mean, I don't know exactly like the tech behind it, but the thing is that we don't really need much else to do the motion capture. We just need to clean the animations a little bit afterwards. And well, we only have one of these, so sometimes like recording two characters interacting just means acting out the scene as one character and then the other character, and then just pretending the other person's standing there, or like one of us is playing one of the characters, and so on. But it's a lot of fun. Sometimes we post things from the recording on our social media. Like, we were recording this scene of the main character going against a strong wind, like a blizzard, and one of us was just pushing the other guy with a broomstick just so he had some resistance and had to walk against the wind. So it can get quite funny.
That's like guerrilla game making, right?
Yeah,
there. Like
totally.
That's indie to a T. I love that so much.
That's how we do it. That's how we do it. This is our style. Yeah,
I love that. I mean, look at Mortal Kombat, right? Like, that's how Mortal Kombat was. It was like, how are we gonna do this? We'll figure it out. Get a cardboard box and and a blue screen, and we'll figure it out. I have a question about the mechanics. Like, when you're looking at this for the first time, obviously skill is important. You have to be. It's very twitchy in a way. How do you make this not feel like a giant tutorial room? You know what I mean? Like, when you think of it, it just seems like, to people who play shooters, like, this is like the beginning of the game where you're learning how to shoot things, and you have to shoot them as they move. How do you keep that loop interesting as you're going through and playing through the game?
Well, I think there are different mechanics that are trying to accomplish this. One of the things is that, so here's the thing, in shooters usually it's not that you are just shooting at others, but you usually have enemies shooting back.
Right.
In our case, that can also happen later in the game, but one thing we do have is that the enemies suck energy out of you, or basically deal you damage when they get close to you. So this is our way for keeping the player kind of running around and jumping and using the movement system, because you need to strategize if it's worth it for you to get close to a group of enemies to quickly attack them, or if you are keeping distance. So that's one of the things I really love about playing the game, that you need to constantly be aware of where the enemies are and moving along with them, so you are keeping distance from everyone. And then it's not like that if you go near one of them you insta die. It's not like that, but the thing is, it's like if you stop and then chill for a few seconds, then of course you might die quickly. So it's just a way to keep things interesting and to let players use the movement system. But then, of course, other kinds of enemies might require you to do different things, because while the core mechanic is match-3 and you pretty much destroy all of the enemies or most of the enemies in this way, there are also some enemies where it's not that simple and you might need to do something extra to be able to like match them.
That reminds me a lot of Doom, like
it's
like the new Doom.
Yeah, like Doom and Doom
it's
Eternal.
just like
all that.
it's all about momentum. It's all about movement, getting around. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. Is
And
there
the,
like a power?
arcadey feel to it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there like a power reserve, or you just do you have unlimited in your power? Do you need to do pickups, and are there power ups or anything like that to help you along in your journey?
So once again, it depends on what game mode we are talking about, because you mentioned before like tutorial concept. The thing is that the story campaign is kind of serving as a tutorial as well, because you start with like 0 skills and then unlock
Sure.
things as you go through the campaign, as you usually do.
Right.
In the endless mode, we are replacing that with a skill tree, so you can choose for yourself what upgrades you want to get. If you want to focus on like movement skills, you can max those out like faster, or if you prefer going for power-ups and just being able to match bugs in efficient ways, you can go for that, or you can like strategize and assign your skill points. That's kind of the usual skill tree thing. Yeah, so when it comes to I'm sorry, the question was if
Like how do you replenish your power, or are
yeah,
there
right,
power ups as you're going along?
Right. So I'm gonna talk about the endless mode, because that's where I guess it's
Okay.
easier to demonstrate. Because I mentioned that your time, or in our case, energy, is running out, and you need to refill that. When it comes to movement, the usual thing is like if you double jump, of course, if you want to recharge the double jump, you need to touch the ground, unless you find like mechanics which allow you to refill the double jump while in midair. For dash, there's like a cooldown. For some stronger movement things, or for stronger skills, there also is a cooldown, or it's something that you can enable by getting collectibles, or just doing big combos. Because one of the things is that while it's a match-3 game, once you unlock the skill of unlimited matching, you can go way beyond that. And my like funny comparison I like to do is like it becomes Tony Hawk at one point, but instead of doing skateboarding tricks, you are doing like matching tricks or combo tricks, where you can for example tag 6 blue enemies while you are wall running and double jumping, and then you switch to green ones and you tag 8 of them, and then you can like go back to red, and this way you can chain up like you can do a big combo and get more power-ups and all that, which then means that you can stay in the game longer. But maybe you're also going to find an effect power-up which grants you like faster speed for a few seconds, or get a shield, which means that you won't get damage for a while when you get close to the enemies. So there are little things that keep the gameplay interesting.
You know, this could do what the Nintendo Wii did for the casual gaming market, because you're marrying a casual match-3 Candy Crush audience with hardcore competitive shooting elements.
Yeah.
You could bridge that gap completely and just bring over all these people like into a whole new way of playing a match-3 game. So I mean, pretty impressive.
There's a lot to balance here, Andy.
There is, but the allure is there. Like, listen, you like video games, but you like your match-3. Come over here. It's like, you know what that's all about. Well, it's this plus some other cool shit.
Yeah,
you can dip your toe into, and then you have your grandma playing Call of Duty.
That's it. That's how it works.
At the end of the year,
or maybe the other way, we are going to have Doom Eternal, like hardcore fans of hard shooters playing match-3.
You're gonna have like the top tier Twitch Call of Duty players,
right. Oh yeah, I like that, yeah.
Doing Candy Crush streams, like.
Hell yeah.
So on that note, I had a thought right now. Typically, I don't like my FPS games to have multiplayer parts, even though I think it's part of that whole genre. It's inescapable. That's why I like Portal and Half-Life so much, because it's purely narrative, purely about the experience. I feel a game like this could be like a Tetris 99 battle royale, where you're like, the more enemies you match, the more you send to your opponent. That would be bananas.
Yeah, I mean, that could certainly be cool. I don't know if as an indie game pulling off a match royale match. That's because we are joking about this already. We were saying like
right.
battle royale. Let's call it match royale. Like this is something like we are going to see. We are planning multiplayer, but more info about that is going to come later, since to be honest, our main focus right now is like polishing and completing the single player campaign and the endless mode, but multiplayer is definitely going to come later as a free update if we are not able to finish it in time for the game release.
Well, listen, as long as you do it in a more timely fashion than Halo Infinite did.
Yeah,
Fine.
yeah, and
totally fine.
Halo Infinite also had a Halo Infinite amount of cash flow, so you're, don't worry about it. Literally anything. If you could actually get the game out, you would have accomplished something. So
talk about an endless mode. I'm endlessly waiting for the co-op to come out for Halo Infinite.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Do enemies? So you were talking about enemies like not really having different behaviors, but are there different like, in the beginning anyway?
Yeah, right. Well, enemies do have different behavior, but like later when you progress, so you can imagine you can see like different bugs in the trailer.
Yeah.
And the thing is, inside like in our team we have like nicknames for them, or we just call them based on actual bugs. For example, we are calling the flying enemies wasps because they're annoying and they're just flying. And then we have like regular bugs and funny names like cockroaches and just different kinds of bugs, which is just our inside dev way to call them. If they are actually going to be called that in the final game, we are going to see about that. But the thing is, as I said, so colors shouldn't really matter when it comes to abilities, but yeah, you might encounter some enemies that are behaving differently. I'm not going to spoil too much, but yeah,
I got you. I misunderstood. I was thinking just like, so you have excuse me, you have enemy types that can be 5-6 different colors. So,
yeah.
Right, okay. But the color is not the enemy type. The color is just...
Color is just the match-3 mechanic, and then the enemy types are what defines the way the bugs behave.
Steven calls his wasps Andes.
I do. Very obnoxious. and they can kill a whole colony of bees, I guess. I don't know.
So aside from the enemies, are we going to expect like any sort of boss fights in a game like this? Like how does, is it just what does a level look like? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh well, that's well, so I'm gonna start with what levels look like, because you can kind of tell that even from the trailer that while we have combat sections and story sections with cutscenes, there's also platforming that's using the movement system, and this is something we are doing in like we are. Going for the modern FPS campaign design where you get to do a lot of things and we just swap them out quickly. So you might get in a fight and after a few seconds or minutes you move on to a platforming section and you're kind of navigating through that. Maybe you'll get like a quick story segment somewhere, and then next up you have a puzzle, because we also have like a few puzzles around using the mechanic and some other gameplay elements. Then there might be a sudden encounter, so once again you get into a short fight, and we are just mixing these things. Maybe there's just a beautiful vista, so you can just enjoy looking at like a pretty thing and then just keep moving. And that means each level keeps kind of jumping back and forth between these things. So we don't want players to really get bored and be like, oh, I've been fighting for 30 minutes, or oh, there were like 7 puzzles in a row. Like, we don't really want people to get bored of the game, so we are changing what you're doing quite
That's
often.
A very good design philosophy.
Yeah, it's
we don't want you to be bored.
Yeah, we are of course not the first to do this. Like it's even when it comes to, because I'm the level designer and game designer, so this topic is close to me. But this is something that literally Valve was talking about in their talk about how they design Half-Life. That they are thinking about making levels in this way, and it's a design that works in FPS. And since we want to still pay respect to the genre as well, we are doing it in this way because it's really fun to play when the levels are structured this way. And the other question was because you asked about how the levels are like. What are
Boss
we going to do in the
fights,
levels? Boss fights, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So we do have mid bosses and boss fights planned. Some of them are going to be really fun. I think we do have like a few surprises that will make more sense. Like when you play the game, it's gonna be like, oh, of course they would do that because that's kind of yeah. We do have some things that maybe we are going to reveal also like the more we get to the release, but also we want to surprise players. But what I can definitely talk about is one of the mid bosses we even see in the trailer, which is our kind of bread and butter, like the most basic mid boss you can imagine. There's this enemy that's got a black color and then colorful words on it. And so the idea is that you can't destroy the enemy just by tagging like it directly with others. You firstly need to get rid of the words on it, and only then the enemy gets colored to like a regular color, and you can match it. Which is like the most basic concept you would expect. So you are not matching the enemy once, but multiple times. But we do have like more complicated ideas for later as well.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like the Zelda philosophy. Like it's a little
Exactly.
bit of a puzzle in the boss fight too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Puzzle game. It's obvious.
Yeah.
That approach.
Yeah. It's like in the end, it's not just a Match-3 FPS. You could say it's a Match-3 FPS adventure platformer puzzle.
It's a video game.
Now
It's a video
just-
game.
It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
the kitchen
Yeah.
sink.
Yeah.
Everything is in there.
Yeah. But it works. Like we are not trying to just put as many things together just so we can say it's all that. It's just it makes sense for the game. We are doing what we like and what we feel the game needs, and it's nice to have a few puzzles there as well, because in the end, in our case, even the combat itself is a bit of a puzzle, because you need to think about the colors, like be spatially aware of the enemies, and maybe think, oh, it's more strategic for me now to switch to yellow color because there's a lot of yellow enemies around me. But then I know that the mid boss has got red color, so I should like pay attention to that. And yeah, so even the combats itself make you think a little bit.
I want this video game.
This sounds so dope.
I wish listed as we were talking. So.
Oh
Great.
yeah,
Perfect.
I've already done that. Like day one, I saw that IGN trailer. I was like, oh yeah, this is it. This is the one. This is the next favorite FPS game.
So,
Yeah,
so I
seems so.
wonder, just if I can ask back, like, so you saw this trailer directly, like on IGN upload, or did someone send it
No,
to you? How did you?
I was just, it was in my YouTube feed. It just popped up, and I was like, oh, this looks, interesting. Got a
Like-
decent amount of views, and it looked unconventional, like from the art. I was like, this looks kind of funky.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is something I wonder about. What's the reaction of people when they hear Match-3 FPS? Because we had internal discussions about that for so long. If it's a good move to call it that or not, because like some of us were worried that Match-3 has this negative connotation. Like people are just going to be put off, like, oh, Match-3. So that
No.
means I'm going to like play this on my phone, and there's going to be like this guy just walking, and you are shooting just by playing regular Match-3, and it's just it's going to be something like that. So we were worried about that, but also I was on the side of really believing, like, no, I think it's a great elevator pitch. Like you see Match-3 FPS, and you want to find out how that
Yeah.
looks like. I think it's just a nice way to get attention as well.
I emailed you immediately after I saw that trailer, and it has the best name. 'Cause it's kind of a pun. It's
Yeah.
refers to the matching, plus it's a superhero origin. So Macho sounds
Yes.
like a gruff action hero name.
Yeah.
So it all kind of fits together beautifully. So it's like
That's kind of the idea behind it. Like some people were wondering if like Matcho has something to do like with machismo or something like that, and we don't really like that association that much, because if anything, in our game we are subverting expectations a lot. One of the things is that it's basically a non-violent shooter. I mean, well, it's violent in the way that sure the enemies explode and their legs fall off, so maybe it is a little violent. But the thing is,
just their legs.
just no, but like you won't see blood or anything like that. So we also had some positive feedback where people told us, "Oh, this is great. I would let my kid play this because it's a shooter." But yeah, it's not really like gory, or you don't.
I feel like this is like a game where you tell people, "Oh, it's a first-person shooter puzzle game," and the person will play it, and then they'll all of a sudden they'll go, "Wait a minute. Did you just trick me into playing a Match-3 game? Like, you tricked me. Like
I just crossed that line."
Yeah. And you're like, no, like Match-3 doesn't always have to be what you think it is. Puzzle games don't always have to be what you think it is either.
And in that way, we want to, I mean, we are open-minded and we kind of want others to be as well, because there's this weird stigma, like exactly like mobile game players or casual players, people playing Match-3. And I mean, it's fine in the end. Like if those people are enjoying that, then I guess that's that's totally okay. But in our way, we want to make a Match-3 game we would want to play, and that's making it a shooter. And it just works both ways. Exactly, like casual people might be able to finally get into shooters, and maybe hardcore FPS players will give it a go and like find a way that makes Match-3 enjoyable for them. It's all about crossing the boundaries and just doing something fun.
Listen, all you hardcore Call of Duty Battlefield players, if you don't play this game, you are not a true FPS hardcore gamer.
Expand your palette.
I'm just slapping on the table. That's it.
Please don't.
Gauntlet's been thrown.
It's not good for an audio podcast.
Please don't.
But I mean, if there are hardcore FPS players, then they probably have a lot of skill that they can use in the game as well, and that can give them advantage. For example, if they want to, I don't know, challenge their friends, then suddenly you can turn this into a competitive thing as well, with like who gets the best score or who finds the best way to get rid of the enemies. Like we want the game to be speedrun friendly as well. I think the movement system is going to definitely make that possible if people find some ways to quickly run through the levels. So I'm looking forward to that.
I would love seeing that, like a casual gamer, like backseat gaming, like to a hardcore player. You're playing it wrong. You're not doing it right.
See, they have the same color. You need to.
Yeah.
Like,
idiot.
Dummy.
Yeah.
Why won't they die? I'm shooting them because it. What do you mean?
Stupid.
Oh man.
What's the roadmap like? You know, you mentioned a lot of stuff like top secret and the things you want to reveal. You got your motion capture suits. I want to buy one now just to have it. Just to have it in my house. Like, here's my motion capture suit. So what's the development process going like? What's target release? Like, how's all that working out for you? What's the game plan with this? Because I want it is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
When can I have it?
A lot of people, of course, are looking forward to it, and I mean, I can provide like the usual game dev response, like when it's ready. But the thing is,
no. For an unconventional game, you can't give me a conventional answer. So I want the real shit.
Right. Well, right now, if you look at our website or other places like that, we are mentioning like 2022, like end of the year. The thing is, The thing is, of course, since we would like to release the game on both PC and like consoles at the same time, we might need to sync it up, and then it's possible it's going to roll over to the next year. Mm-hmm. We are, of course, doing like all weekend, so we can deliver the game as quickly as possible. Like, but also, it takes time, and we definitely don't want to rush it. We want to take our time to make it nice. I am definitely like of the idea. Like, it's better to postpone the release than like having a bad game. So
listen, don't cyberpunk it is what you really want to say.
Yeah. We definitely don't want that. So I mean, I'm just saying I'm okay with the possibility of it rolling over to the next year, but for now we are doing our best to be able to make it.
Don't worry about it.
Cautiously optimistic that it
Take your time.
could happen this year, but you're not gonna.
Yeah.
I got you. No,
I mean,
that's
we don't
smart.
want we don't want to disappoint anyone, but also we would disappoint people if we rushed to make it and like to make the release date this year, and then it was just not ready. So
Yeah.
when we feel like it's ready, hopefully you'll be able to play it. And one thing is that of course we plan to appear at a few gaming events throughout the year, so maybe like some people will be able to play it in advance there. If there are going to be any other options or opportunities, I think we are going to let everyone know on our social media. That's probably the best thing to follow if you want to know about what we're up to.
Okay.
Well, Andy, it's that time, buddy.
Oh, it's that time.
It is. It's that time.
Special time of the
Speaking of
episode
not being
of the
ready,
show.
it is now time for rapid fire. This is where we get
Ooh.
to know you, Vojta. Okay.
Okay, wow.
We're gonna
Oh.
get to know you in the most deepest.
Just taking a sip. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
the deepest,
Be
darkest part of your
prepared.
soul. And we're gonna start off pretty easy here. Would
let's
you
see.
rather have the power of flight or invisibility?
Whew, I would probably go for invisibility. Yeah, just. I mean, I would probably start asking questions like, "How would the flight work?" and all that. But
Don't ask questions. It's rapid fire.
Exactly. Exactly. Invisibility. Next question. Let's go.
Since you're rocking that Lucifer beard, what is your preferred method of being summoned? Do I say your name in the mirror 3 times? Do I draw a pentagram in blood? What's sacrifice?
Oh
What-
no
what
no
do you-
no no no! Definitely name 3 times because match
Got
3. The number 3 is our
look
thing
at that.
here.
Nailed it.
Like no like I'm the annoying person on the team that always mentions like let's make like the number 3 appear everywhere. Like for example, if you listen to the soundtrack, the track in the trailer was written in 3/4, and there are usually like 3 notes and all that, and we have 3 colors for
Man.
enemies, and I'm just putting number 3 everywhere.
See the
Love it.
details people
It's the perfect
won't
number.
get. They won't see it. They won't see it.
So yeah,
I have
3
a-
times. Yeah.
I have a
Got it.
very deep question for rapid fire right now. Okay.
Ooh. We always do at some point.
Only one of these two things is guaranteed to exist. You have to choose which one exists. Okay?
Let's see.
Would you rather have a true afterlife? For example, Valhalla, heaven, however you want to think of it. Or would you rather exist time travel?
Wow. I think I would go for Afterlife personally. Even though I love time travel and I love a good time travel story, I think that can go wrong very quickly. I would go for
always
Afterlife.
does.
Yeah.
It always does.
Well,
There's always like some logic flaw in a time travel film.
remember, with afterlife, there also comes the not so nice afterlife. So if you're not
Right.
100% sure, like Andy, for example, is probably doing time travel because he doesn't know where he's going. He doesn't know
I
what
wanna
gate
know where
he's
I'm
showing
going.
up. He doesn't
Like-
know if he's going down
Yeah.
below or up high. He doesn't know.
I think I'm more of a purgatory guy. I've done enough bad shit, not too much evil shit. Look at that. There's 3 things. 3.
3. There you go, Mitch.
Yeah.
See, I want to ask you what are your top 3 favorite games, but I'm gonna bypass that.
3.
I want you to think about some of your favorite games you've played in your entire life.
Yep.
And if you could have one that you could erase your memory of playing it and play it again for the first time for that fresh experience and like rediscover the magic, what game would that be?
Ooh. I mean, that's a great question. I would probably say The Witness.
The Witness.
Yeah, because like here's the thing:
Yes.
if I had to answer the question of top 3 games, I would put The Witness there, but also I would put Portal or Portal 2 there. But as much as I love Portal, I think erasing memories and like experiencing it again would probably be better for the Witness, just the way the game works. While Portal, I mean, I've played it for so much that I think any mind eraser device wouldn't work on me anyway. It's just ingrained in my memory. So no, the Witness, I think, because I love it. It's a great puzzle game, and really inspiring. Yeah.
Is breakfast cereal a soup?
Ooh. Wow. Not if you put yogurt on it. No, but no, it's not. It's not. For me, it's not.
Parfait at that point. Speaking about threes, you can pick only one. I may know the answer, but you never know. Because Valve has a part 3 issue.
Yeah.
You can only have a Portal 3 or a Half-Life 3. Which one are you picking?
Wow. Well,
Or Team Fortress 3.
Or Team Fortress 3, yeah.
right. Okay. No. Oh, that makes it interesting. Here's the thing. Like, as much as I'm a hardcore Portal fan, I'm thinking like they explored the concept enough. The story is wrapped. I don't know how they would reopen Portal 3 to make it even better and introduce all these things. So even if it hurts me to say as a Portal fan, I don't really think we need another one if it's just going to like be more of the same. I would rather have them make a new puzzle game that takes place in the world of Aperture Science, like take a different like gameplay mechanic.
Right.
So I would probably say Half-Life 3 just so all the fans can have the story finally be wrapped up. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. You're gonna save Portal from itself, basically. Let's not,
Yeah,
let's not
yeah.
ruin the legacy.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you did it. You're good. You're done. You're
I
finished.
mean, I started making levels by modding Portal, so I know that the community has already made tens of thousands of puzzles, and I played not all of them, no, but enough to know like I mean, there's enough content that any Portal fan can still play something and enjoy the whole thing. So yeah. Half-Life 3, I think, would make more people happy, I guess.
If you were arrested, what would be your crime?
Leaking info about the game. I guess that's not.
Like a crime to me.
Nah,
What kind of
I mean,
what's going on over there at your place?
No, I mean like non-disclosure agreements and all that. No, I mean that's for real though. Let me think. Like, I mean that's a tough one. It wouldn't probably be like car related, like for speeding or anything like that, because I prefer public transport. Because I don't have a car. But
Grand Theft
I
Auto.
don't know.
Is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Yeah. True. Okay. No. Yeah. Sure. Let's go with that.
Let's get a couple more here, Andy.
Yeah, I got a good one on the twist on a classic. What are your 3 favorite toppings to put on a pizza?
Ooh. Okay. Well, basic answer would be salami or like pepperoni, because to me that's the best. I'm always going for a pepperoni pizza.
Yes.
One that can be polarizing is like some people like olives, some people hate them. I like them, so I would put olives on a pizza as well.
It's a mood for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you kind of want that there. And then there's one, and I just need to be sure. Maybe you can tell me. I'm never sure what's the proper English translation. Is it arugula? Is it rocket? The green.
Like arugula, like
arugula.
Yeah,
Arugula,
salad,
yeah,
like
the
green.
the
Yeah, salad.
lettuce,
Yeah. I for some reason I really love that on pizza. I think that's really nice. And if you combine all of them together, like have salami
Interesting.
or ham.
I would eat that.
I never would have guessed those 3 things together.
Because arugula is my only go-to green for a salad because it's thin, it's a little bit bitter, but it has a bite to it, and it's not like you're not tasting like a forest or like a romaine or like.
I've heard like the comparison is like
spinach.
I've heard it's like the meat of salads, and in a weird way that makes sense to me because the
Sure.
flavor of it kind of feels like that. Like
It's got a
You're making the best sales pitch for a game and the best sales pitch for lettuce.
right. Yeah.
Let's stay on food.
No, yeah.
What is the best sandwich?
Ooh. I was also waiting for one like is pizza a sandwich or not? Because
There's a hot dog a sandwich.
Oh, sandwich, yeah.
That would have
as
been
well, as well.
his other
as well.
option.
Yeah, right. No, a best sandwich, huh? I mean, I don't really know a lot of the names for these because I know you guys probably have like those things like what's the abbreviation like when it's chicken, bacon, lettuce.
Like a
and-
BLT kind of
BLT,
thing.
yeah, BLT, yeah. I mean that's a pretty good one. I like bacon and sandwich. Yeah, I think that's a
Can't go
the
wrong
star of the
with
show.
yeah.
Andy, you do one more, and then I'm gonna give us our final question.
Oh boy, I was asking a silly one. Would you rather fight 100? Let me get this right this time. 100 duck-sized horses, or one horse-sized duck?
I mean, one horse-sized duck just sounds extremely terrifying to me. I would go for 100 duck-sized horses. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Would you
that's
rather
scary.
fight a dinosaur or a? That's
Yeah.
basically what it is.
Or a bunch of little donkeys. All right, it is now time for the final question, Vojta. I don't know if you're ready for this, but
Not ready.
it is the hardest question you're ever going to have to answer.
yeah.
As a matter of fact, you might want to take a sip. I'm going to take a sip before I ask it, so you might as well get ready. Mhm.
All right, let's go.
All right, here we go. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Very important, and it helps if you don't think about it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
They all do though.
They all do.
They all like.
They all do.
Well, they had that "fuck you" moment then.
Yeah.
in the
Nah.
answer. But yeah.
The question, of course, is Andy or Steve?
That's awful. But also in what sense? Like Andy or
Oh,
Steve?
That's the beauty of the question.
Right. It's just
It is
so
to
my
your
You
interpretation.
could say in your mind, I really want to smack the shit out of Andy. He has the most punchable face. You could just say Andy, and we'll never know.
We'll never know
Well,
the
like-
true intent behind
yeah.
your answer.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's the escape. You know, that's so you don't
Right.
feel bad.
I should have just said the first name that comes to my mind instead of thinking about it. Right. But
It's impossible.
it's impossible. So I'm just gonna say Andy.
That's fair.
There it is.
That's
There
fair.
it is. There it is.
All right. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to bring us to the end of the Dual Screens podcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening.
This
If
is
you
a good
want to
one.
follow us on social media, we're at dual_screens. I'm at Batchild27. Andy is at PantsGuy. And our Facebook group is facebook.com/groups/DS podcast. You can follow us pretty much everywhere. Just look for Dual Screens. It's DUEL Screens if you are listening somehow and don't know how to spell the name of the show. Okay.
It happens.
Yeah, it does happen. It does happen.
Google is always yelling at me.
Google's very angry about our spelling.
you get
It's
that
a
right? I
word.
got it right.
This is a word, people. Duel is a word. DUEL. It's a word. I promise. You could also follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/dualscreenstreams. Where can everybody find you, Vojta?
Well, my Twitter is at VOJTASIMAN, Vojta Šiman, my name. Should be the same for Instagram. And most importantly, if you want to follow our game, the best thing is to follow Fiolasoft, FIOLA Soft, on Instagram and Twitter as well. We are going to post more info about the game there.
Yes, and don't forget to wish list
Yeah,
Matcho.
It's Matcho,
on
exactly.
Steam.
Yeah, and more info on playmatcho.com.
Indeed. And that's going to do it for the show. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Vojta. Thank you, viewers, if I didn't say that already. And as always, please be excellent to each other.